Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Sixers lose back-to-back games for the first time this season. Kelly Oubre was hit by a car, and Nico Batum continues to miss games for personal reasons. The most normal team in the NBA face off against the Atlanta Hawks on Friday. Meanwhile, the Flyers have won 3 straight games, beating the Hurricanes 3-1 in Carter Hart's return to the lineup Wednesday night. Are they bad or kind of okay? We still just don't know. The Flyers face off against the Golden Knights Saturday afternoon. The hot stove remains lukewarm for the Phillies as no big moves have yet to be made. However, the Phils are reportedly among those interested in Japanese pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The Eagles get ready to face the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Cam Jurgens returns to practice and is expected to slot back into the starting lineup. Jalen Hurts has shed his knee brace and appears much closer to full health. Can the Birds beat bye-week Andy Reid in the Super Bowl rematch? All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good, man. Good to be back. Nice little Thursday night. We got a little great football matchup here just in general. It's good to have a nice Thursday night football game for a change and not 2 scrub teams. But feeling good. It's nice and balmy out in November. Can't complain. Back with the boys. Feels good.
Yeah, you know what? I can complain. I meant to complain about this last week. Daylight savings time, man. No. Just no. Standard time is so much better than daylight time, right? Do I have that right? Let me make sure I have that right in my notes.
I think
that was
so.
called standard time.
Eastern Standard and then Eastern Daylight.
Oh, no, we're in standard time right now. Standard time sucks. That's where you fall back.
I want that metric time.
Had me in the first half.
Yo, but daylight time is good. How y'all feel? Oh, no, we've had this conversation. Trevor, I know you didn't touch your clocks. How did you feel, Pat, about your clocks, pushing your clocks back?
The OG listeners know my feelings on the
That shit's psycho.
Clocks.
I mean, it's annoying, but 15 minutes, you got to change everything. It's not as bad as when you have to like reset your password for the Wi-Fi and then got to reconnect everything. So I feel like I don't mind changing the clocks, shit like that. Now the regular clock in the kitchen, that's like on the wall.
Yeah, that one's high up there.
Yeah, that one, the battery's
too short. How do you get that?
That one I think is dead, so I don't really fuck with that one anyway. But yeah, it's all right. I don't mind waking up with the sun. It's nice to have the sun up in the morning. But when you're coming home at 4:30, 5 o'clock, that's ass when it's already dark out.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you wake up in the morning. Sure, it's kind of bright. You know what I'm saying? But by the time you're up, the sun's up. But working from home, man, it's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock rolls around. I look out the window and it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
People wonder why everyone's so seasonally depressed in the wintertime. That shit's why.
Yeah.
You look out the window at 5 p.m., it's dark. And you just got done work. How are you supposed to feel?
Yeah. You got an hour left to work and it's already pitch black. It's like, I don't got it in me right now.
Yeah. I kind of want to just start protesting it and just tell my boss that I'm going to be coming in an hour late every day. Because I just don't believe in it. It's against my personal beliefs.
It's against my religion.
Yo, protesting works.
But then,
what if everyone picketed about that? Or I guess it wouldn't be a picket. It's not workers'
the
rights.
The problem is then once it comes time to leave, you got to stay for an extra hour. So I'm thinking what the strategy should be is you get all mad and indignant in the morning, and then you've been at the work for a few hours, give them time to like cool down, and you're like, okay, this isn't so bad. So I'm gonna leave at what the time the clocks say, and then the next morning you get mad again. So just kind of keep this going.
Of both worlds.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that whole we gain an hour of sleep, man. You don't gain an hour of sleep. I didn't.
Really
did y'all sleep an extra? Did y'all gain an hour of sleep?
Because we were in Hawaii when it happened. So
they don't even acknowledge it.
Well, I was already fucked up anyway from the time. So by the time we came home, I'm like, wow, it was weird.
That is weird. Trevor, did you gain the hour of sleep? Did you actually sleep for that hour?
I'm trying to remember what I did the next morning. What was going on that day?
It was a Sunday.
Yeah. So it would have been, I don't know. I don't really remember.
I'm going to say no. If it wasn't memorable, then no. Hell no.
I didn't gain an hour of sleep. I just woke up an hour early and was just unhappy in bed. And then I was like, yeah, I guess I might as well get my day started early, but I don't really want to. And the other thing too, man, about this shit is when you work at a bar, if you work for a bad bar owner, you end up having to work an extra hour.
Yeah, that's lame.
So when I worked at the Barbary, when I was a bouncer there, like John Redden, he's not listening to this pod, and even if he is, he's an asshole. But he was just all about partying and just having more fun, just hating or not hating people, but only caring about himself, he would keep the bar open an extra hour late. So it would go from 1:59 back to 1. We had to stay an extra hour. If you're a door guy, like, yeah, you get paid for that, but that also gives you an extra hour that you have to deal with people. That gives them an extra hour to get drunk and messy and sloppy and belligerent.
And they're getting all excited about that shit. They're like, yeah, the clocks went back. It's like, okay,
exactly.
Man,
they start ripping shots when the clocks go back. I don't know. When I was a younger fellow, man, Trevor, you remember the days of the Wolf House daylight wasting time parties. Yeah. They were fun. But now I'm too old for that. I don't really care about that. I'd rather just be in bed at a reasonable time, wake up, live my life, and it not be dark at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Avery, anti-clock changing.
Yeah, I'm completely anti-standard time. Word is bond, and that's that. We can move on. Oh, wait. Hold on. Marco Rubio, of all people. The senator from Florida, that asshole. Yeah. He's against he's against standard time.
Good.
Yeah. The one good thing he's fighting for.
Hey man, you gotta cross the aisle when it's when it's strategically sound.
Oh yeah, he's trying to get that better sleep too.
Yeah. Fuck he knows. Guy, he knows what's up when it comes to standard time, though. Standard time can kiss my ass.
Is there like I wonder if there's a standard time lobby in Congress that's preventing this from happening?
Apparently,
big standard time.
Yeah, they're in there with their little signs. They got the little graphs and the charts and shit when they're doing like hearings and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's what you gotta follow the money and see who's benefiting financially from this. I don't really.
The Arizonians got it right.
Yeah, Arizona and Hawaii.
Arizona. Wait, so Arizona doesn't do it?
Arizona doesn't do it.
Other than like
that's weird to have one state that's like surrounded by other states that are just on a different.
They don't do it
time.
Yeah, Arizona, other than the Navajo Nation. I'm well researched on this, man. The Navajo Nation acknowledges it. The rest of Arizona doesn't. Hawaii doesn't, but they're not really a mainland state. Puerto Rico's a U.S. territory. They don't. I don't think Alaska does either.
They took everything from the Navajos just to make them fucking confined to your time constraints, too.
They're all upside down anyway. It's like half the time it's like daytime's nighttime. And
yeah, it's bright for like 18 hours a day in the summer.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what they decide to do.
About Alaska?
Yeah.
They're all weird anyway up there.
Yeah, I've never been. You guys ever been to Alaska?
No, I had a cousin that lived up there for a minute. He's all right. Yeah. But that definitely takes a toll. You come back to the East Coast, you're like, damn, that dude's a little fucked up. But how could you not be? You're living in a freezer.
It's fucking cold, yeah.
It's cold. You got moose running around. It's just cold.
You got to worry about, like, birds coming and snatching up your cat and shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Polar bears just in your backyard, potentially.
Moose all territorial?
No, grizzly bears, right?
Grizzly bears, yeah. Polar bears, you wouldn't be able to live there. They're polar bears. Because they just kill people.
They can't even live with their
grizzly bears are dangerous, but at least you can, like...
Now you got Grolar... What's it called? Grolar bears are starting to happen.
Grolar bears?
Oh, what?
Because now it's getting... I'm not trying to blow anyone's mind right now, but it's starting to get too warm up in the poles, so the polar bears are coming down into, like, grizzly territory, and they're mating with each other.
So is this, instead of being a white or a brown bear, is it just like a tan bear?
It's
a light-skinned bear?
Yeah.
It's like a sandy bear? Like a fucking, yeah.
Yo, I want to look this up. A Grolar bear.
Yeah, I wonder how nasty those are.
Nasty.
Because that's what the phrase is, like, black fight back, brown lie down, white good night.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're supposed to do about the
tan
ones.
Tan.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think that I will say you can have all the little riddles you want, but you see a bear eye to eye. I don't know.
You wouldn't if you saw a black bear. You wouldn't like square up.
I could probably go toe to toe with.
I think black bears you can just yell at them and they'll go away.
You can. Oh, I did yell at a bear. We were camping the one time and a bear came on our campsite. I was just like, bah, and then it ran away. But it took our croissants. I was pissed about that.
It looks like a light skin. It just looks like a light skinned bear, man.
Ugh. Yeah,
it kind of looks like an albino grizzly bear.
They look pissed off. They're like, I don't know if I like the cold, if I hate the cold.
That's
Now they swim. That means they can swim too, because they get that polar bear blood.
Yeah, they're strong. They can withstand the. Ooh.
You know what pisses me off though? When you see these zoos and shit, right? And it's like summertime.
Oh. Oof.
And they're like, oh, it's so hot. Let's give Larry the polar bear a chunk of ice. I'm like, Come on, man. Get this man out of here. He doesn't deserve to be in San Diego
Those
right
Bears
now.
look so sad, man, in the summer especially.
They're all skinny. The one that they used to have at the Philly one, too, always looked depressed.
Yeah.
Do you think if more of these tan bears start showing up in like grizzly bear territory, there could be like a bear race war?
Definitely.
Could be.
Hell yeah.
Like, you don't want these tan
Well, you
bears
figure-
encroaching on our neighborhoods.
Also, you got to figure, like, who's fucking who? Like, is it the polar bear that's the dominant one? Is it the grizzlies fucking up the polar bears? I mean, like, grizzlies just sound nastier. Polar bears, they
polar
say...
bears are pretty nasty, too, though, now.
Yeah, but you don't see grizzly bears in the Coca-Cola commercial. It's always polar bears chilling.
Polar bears are probably always just pissed off because like they're
distraught.
they're getting their neighborhoods are getting destroyed by global warming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polar bears are even nastier.
Classic polar bear moving into the territory, changing up the fucking gentrification here in the woods. Bullshit.
White people, white bears.
Although polar bears' skin, they're actually black.
For real?
Yeah, they're actually black-skinned bears, but the hair follicles are clear, and it is a reflecting mechanism they do to keep the sun off and the ice off them.
Okay.
So technically, they're like a fraud. They like paint, they look white.
I wouldn't say they're a fraud. We all from Africa, right?
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
Same thing. It's
but
just
from
in
face
bear
value, you know what I mean? They look like a white bear, but underneath the coat, they got black skin. Grizzly bears don't know that shit, so I'm sure they're pissed off. But anyway, that's my take on bears.
That'll do it for this segment of bear warfare on the Citywide Pod.
But watch out for them Grolar bears, though.
Growlers. Damn.
Yo, Trevor, you got your surgery coming up tomorrow.
Yeah. In like 12 hours from now, I'll be getting wheeled out of the OR with like a brand new man.
What's the first thing you're going to do when you're not herniated?
I don't
Take
know.
this table upstairs.
Yeah, I'll start moving the table. I'll be back on table duty. Have all this set up ahead of time. That'll be cool. Just be able to walk around and do shit without this like annoying pain all the time.
Yo, when did you first notice it?
Probably like I don't know. It's probably been like over a month now. Like
Damn.
maybe late September.
Was it from
end of September.
kickball?
No, I don't know if anything really. I mean, I did notice it when I was like exercising, like lifting some weights. I don't know if that's what caused it, but
Hell yeah. In
May
the
have
gym
been
too
like-
hard.
might have been like a straw that broke the camel's back situation. Just one rep too many, and then. But yeah, man. Gotta say, I'm glad we have modern medical technology. Because, I mean, it couldn't have been that long ago that you get a hernia and it's just like, well, you just have that now.
Yeah.
Are you under
They're
the
just
knife,
not
or
gonna-
do they go in the back door, or what do they got to do here?
They, so last time I had it, they had like a big ass incision. I had to get it like stapled up and all that shit. But this
Fuck.
time they'll be able to do it with like a scope. So it'll just be like a couple little like tiny incisions. So it'll be a lot easier recovery wise.
Damn.
So that's nice. Because the first time it kind of sucked.
Yeah,
But,
what was the recovery time the first time?
I mean, it was like, I don't know. I mean, it was like a month before I was back to being able to do like everything.
Damn.
Well, at least it's winter time. Be all laid up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spend a couple days on the couch watching football.
You gotta be
and
careful
then-
then eating all that Thanksgiving food that next week. You could
Yeah,
burst a fucking stitch or
Yeah,
something.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
You'll be all bloated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen you eat before.
Big time.
It's gonna have
Bringing
to,
all
yeah,
that
it's
mac and
gonna have to-
cheese.
It's
Mhm.
gotta like crush up some laxatives, put it in the turkey.
Oof.
Yeah.
Keep everything flowing.
Can't be
nice
pushing.
and smooth, nice and even.
Can't be doing any pushing coops.
I do remember the first time having to like take laxatives for that exact reason, because if you get constipated after that shit, you're in a bad place.
Ugh.
Damn. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine.
Yeah, that sounds bad. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because it was like they give you the painkillers, which cause you to be constipated, so you got to counteract that with the fucking. But this time, because it's a smaller incision shit, they said I should be able to just get by with like Advil and whatever. I shouldn't even have to take like.
Any questions,
the
Doc?
hard
When can I
stuff.
shit normally again? Well,
Yeah.
damn.
Well, good luck with that. We don't have a Venmo or a PayPal, but if you want to send Trevor care
Thoughts and prayers.
packages, DM us on Instagram, on Twitter,
Yeah.
email us at citywidepod@gmail.com, and let us know that you would like to send Trevor a care package.
Send me a nice.
A
What do
bushel
they
of
call those things?
prunes.
something arrangements.
Edible
arrangements, but
Oh, yeah.
it's just a bunch of laxatives.
Just all
fucking-
prunes and whatever else
yeah,
makes
it's
you
a
poop.
bunch. It's just
Prunes,
like,
raisins.
It's just coffee,
Yeah.
Marlboro Reds,
Yeah.
and like and laxatives.
That's
Yeah.
hysterical.
But no, I should be good. I should be good to go in a couple days.
Good.
But yeah, very, very much looking forward to getting this all over with. But
Oh, yeah.
so, what's on the old sports docket, fellas?
What do we want to get into first? Should we dab a Phillies? Only they don't have a whole lot.
Yeah,
we
we can hit the Phillies up first.
Yamamoto.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to talk about there.
Can we get our first player from Japan?
Japanese
That'd be
guys,
kinda
yeah,
sick.
that's what I'm saying. Like
We've had 2 Japanese players. Not recently. Well, I guess kind of recently.
Well, I mean,
who we
I would
talking
say-
about.
Tadahito Iguchi, man.
yeah.
Remember when Chase Utley broke his hand? Iguchi was killing it.
Oh yeah.
And
then-
So Taguchi.
okay,
I should
Remember
say
him?
meaningful
We had,
Japanese player then.
we had Chan Ho Park for a minute.
I think he was
He's-
Korean.
Oh, is he? Yeah, maybe.
I think.
Damn, I'm already
Yeah,
I'm already
uh-oh.
I'm trying digging my own grave here.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, let's
boy.
Look.
move on from that.
Look.
Hey, Tadahito Iguchi was a meaningful player.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
Phillies
I mean,
don't win the division
They
in
haven't
07
been in.
without him.
They seem to never be in on these like big name Japanese free agents though.
Mm-mm.
I mean, last year there was that one outfielder who it was funny because he was like Bryce Harper was like his idol or whatever, but he was like an outfielder and we didn't have room for him. Didn't make sense. So like that I get, but it's like damn, like I want to get one of these guys sometime.
That'd be cool.
The Mets are very heavy in on him, so it might be a bidding war against them. But
Yeah, I think a few teams are. The Red Sox.
I'd imagine he's got a pretty high market, but it'd be cool. You know, we got deep pockets, so
yeah,
you know.
Apparently,
take that.
he's
Not my
only
money.
a fallback option if they don't sign Nola, though.
That's been looking
Yeah.
more and more like a positive though for Nola.
What, that they're going to sign him?
Both camps know that they want to keep together. They just are working out the fine tuning of the deal, from what
Mhm.
I saw.
I don't know. I was hearing something different. I got this from Jason Stark of The Athletic that he said, I'll quote this article here, "It's impossible to know the details of those negotiations with Nola and his agent Joe Longo of Paragon Sports. But here's an educated ballpark guess on where the two sides stood back then being spring training of last year.
Right.
It's reasonable to think that the Phillies' initial offer was in the range of 6 years, $150 million, which averages out to $25 million a year. That's actually higher than the 6-year, $125 million deal that the Athletics' Jim Bowden predicted for Nola this winter. But, according to multiple league sources, the two sides were not even remotely close back then. That would seem to indicate that Nola's side was looking for a 7-year extension for north of $200 million, possibly well north.
No.
That would put Nola's valuation of his potential worth at roughly $30 million a year, give or take a couple of million. It's a lot.
I'm okay if he wants 30 mil for a couple of years, but 7, it's the length of the
it's
contract.
the years that's the
yeah.
Yeah, $30 million a year, $25 million a year in the grand scheme of a couple of years is not the end of the world. But if he's really focused on 7 years, I don't think the Phillies are going to give him that. I wouldn't even give him 6 the way that this article suggested they did last year. And I don't know that they're particularly close.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of these other big pitching free agent signings, like it doesn't look like they're gonna end well. Like,
No.
fucking, who's the guy?
Look at
that-
Scherzer and
Rodon?
Verlander, too.
Yeah,
though.
Rodon. Yeah, like, ugh, yeah, don't really want to get stuck in one of those.
And his pitch count is he's top 3 every year in pitch count.
Yeah,
and like
he's thrown a
7 years.
lot.
I don't know how, even just logistically, how they even came up with that long term of a deal. Like, okay, it's one thing to want to get paid and get your bag, and I get that, but like 7 years, you ain't gonna see that shit, or at least be worth that kind of money past 4.
Yeah.
Because that arm can't do it. I mean, we saw this season where he looked a little, and especially if we're doing all these long postseason runs, you can't be throwing close to 3,000 pitches or whatever it is a year. Like, that's just not, it doesn't add up.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Not a
don't
young man anymore. It's a young man's game, or
Yeah.
old man's game.
I don't see them going for that long. So yeah, I mean, excuse me, if the Phillies do end up going for Yamamoto because of that, I'm all for it. Yamamoto's 25.
Yeah, give him an 8-year, $40 million a year contract. I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. You're going to get him for a while. But Nola would love to keep him, but, it just, you got to shave some of them years off that contract.
Yeah, which maybe he realizes there isn't a market. What do y'all think about him to the Braves? That seems to be gaining more and more traction. We kind of talked about this a little bit last week, but it seems like that could be... I think we talked more about the Cardinals than the Braves, but this week it seems like the Braves could be the number one suitor for him.
I'm not afraid if he goes to the Braves. From a team perspective, I would hate seeing him on the Braves, but playing against him, I'm not, I don't... He's great here and there, right? But I feel like we saw, again, inconsistent play through the regular season. Playoffs, he was lights out for a majority of the playoffs and then kind of had a downturn a little bit here and there. But it's more just because I don't want him to go to a fucking divisional round. Like, that's just, you hate to see that shit.
Yeah, probably would at least get to see Schwarber hit some moonshots against him.
Definitely.
But yeah, I definitely don't want that. Don't want to see him on the Braves. I remember when Cole Hamels was on the Braves for,
That was
for
so
a minute.
weird.
That was like the end of the line for him, but it was
Again,
still kind of gross looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thought of Nola in just a gray, navy blue Braves uniform, I just can't even picture it.
Mm-mm.
But, I mean, it seems real. For one thing, we said last week he's from New Orleans. Atlanta's pretty close to New Orleans, a lot closer to New Orleans than Philly is.
Yeah.
The Braves have they've underpaid a lot of their stars. Like, they'll call them team-friendly deals, but, I mean, they're taking advantage of the fact that guys like Albies and Acuna are from these, I'll just call it impoverished upbringings in Latin America, and they're just giving them well undervalued deals for how good of players they are. So they have the cap. Not that baseball has a cap, but they have the money to spend on someone like Nola if they want to overpay. And then also, Rick Kranitz, their pitching coach, was with the Phillies from 2016 to 2018 when Nola came up. So, I mean, you put all that together and it makes a lot of sense, as much as I hate to admit it.
It makes, like I said, I don't think that it would really necessarily impact. I'm sure he'll get 1 or 2 games up on us like that. We'll be like, man, there he is. But in the big picture, I don't see him really, it's not I'm not afraid, like, oh, wow, now that bullpen's going to kill us. Like, we've shown that when it matters, we can beat that team, and it's not a big deal. We've done it 2 years in a row. However, it would just suck to see him on the Braves. That's all.
It's just visually. It's so visually just displeasing, unpleasing. But whatever, man. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think that's all I really got for the Phils. You got Mike Trout still floating around a little bit.
Where do y'all think Shohei ends up? Obviously, won't be here.
I think if he ends up anywhere on the East Coast, it's going to be the Yankees. I think I think he's made it clear, like especially in the World Baseballs, whatever the fuck that thing was called, that he enjoys staying kind of local, right? But I think if anyone's going to pull him, if you're a guy from Japan like that, I feel like New York is probably a more enticing place to go to than Philadelphia is.
For sure.
So I could see him going there. It wouldn't surprise me if they somehow did get him just because of the way how aggressive this ownership is and how much they're ready to like pay the fine or bring in this hot talent to attract players. But I think if I'm Shohei, if I'm not going to stay on the West Coast, I'm going to the Yankees, and that's it. You want to play for the pinstripes and have that history and all that. You're compared to Babe Ruth every fucking year anyway, so
True.
That would be kind of cool to have him there.
Yeah. It seems like the Dodgers are probably the most likely as of right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it wouldn't shock me if he ends up with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, in Yankee Stadium with that 316
Oh my
right
God.
field porch, he'd hit 70 home runs.
Yeah.
It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it would be nuts.
And he's not pitching, so he'll just be focusing on hitting.
Yeah, he can focus on hitting. Yeah, he'd crush it.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the other interesting bit of Major League Baseball news is the Oakland A's are moving to Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas becoming a sports town.
What about that? So they got the Golden Knights, who won the Stanley Cup Finals.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Aces, who won the WNBA Finals.
Yep.
Now they got the Raiders, who fired Josh McDaniels and are starting to
Undefeated,
look like a football team again.
Yeah.
And, they're going to
They
get...
got baseball. Although, that's got to be in a dome, you'd think, right?
Oh, it's going to be too goddamn hot.
Because it's, you can't be out there. No. Although night games, it probably gets cool. Maybe
it might be a retractable thing like they have in Arizona. That would make a lot of sense.
I could see that because that'd be a nice game to catch out, see the stars up and all that. But yeah, man, I mean, it's unfortunate. You know, it's a cool franchise. You like Oakland A's and all that. And Oakland, I like when Oakland has teams. You know, I love the Raider pit and all that when Oakland was still there. Like, they just had that different kind of mentality to them.
Yeah.
I do like that with the whole firing of McDaniels. Now they kind of are getting that more. I mean, that defense is built. Max Crosby is a dog. Like, that defense is built to be kind of that same mentality.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that there. But, you know, you lose a bit of your identity as a franchise when you just up and leave. I mean, you know, look at the Rams when they were in St. Louis.
The greatest show on turf, dog.
Yeah, you got like a different breed. It's a cool thing. You got the arch there. Like, you know, you got generational fans and kids that are growing up about it. So the fan base will be weird, I guess. And you're going to get a lot of transient people there, but it'll be all right. I mean, doesn't really affect me like that, but Las Vegas A's.
The Las Vegas Athletics doesn't really. They're gonna have to change the name.
Yeah. Just doesn't sound good off the tongue.
What could affect us, and Joe Biden had a warning to issue when he was meeting the Golden Knights earlier this week.
Just one promise: don't get the Philadelphia Eagles to leave and go, because I'll get divorced if that happens. I married a Philly girl, and it's a long story.
Damn. R.I.P. to
Good
those
old
brain
Diamond
cells.
Joe.
Damn.
Why on earth would the Vegas Golden Knights somehow get the Eagles to move to Las Vegas? Are you serious, man?
Oh, man.
Classic Joe Biden right there, baby.
Such
I love
a
when they're
bad
like, do you
joke.
think that you're... when they're like, do you think that you're pretty sharp? He's like, I'm as sharp. I'll tell you what, my IQ... When a fly flies and a fly, I'm sharper than a sharper fly. And the guy's like, what the fuck? We have a commercial break real quick.
I mean, at least his brain functions enough that he can speak at these things, unlike Mitch McConnell, though.
He just paused.
And then
Hard
one of
pause.
those moments. He was meeting with President Xi this week. And apparently we're going to get some more pandas.
Yeah, speaking of bears, we got them pandas back.
We're going to get
for real?
I guess Biden was able to at least smooth things over enough that we're going to get some more pandas in here.
Now
So
that
that's
we
nice.
made them all Americanized and obese, he's like, all right, we'll get you some more fresh cubs here real quick.
there
But it's a
we go.
sign
I
of peace.
always love these politicians are always just like doing this fear mongering shit about China. It's like China's the biggest threat to America and
To American
global
democracy.
stability and blah blah blah. But then when they meet behind closed doors, it's like, yo, you guys are still gonna be making the sneakers, right? Like, you guys, we don't even know how to make the sneakers.
We're still getting the pandas right
Yeah,
now.
we need the pandas, we need the sneakers, we need the plastic shit.
Uh,
Just keep all that coming. Don't worry about what we say in public. Like,
they met off the side at like whatever thing that they were at, but then G was like on his press conference. The dude's always at like military parades, but was like, well, we heard some backlash because a lot of children in America were upset. So for the kids, we're bringing you back some more pandas. It's like, okay, how could someone? Well, I don't know. Like you said,
Dude,
they make him
it's
so
funny.
fear monger, but then it's like, all right, we'll get you some more fucking pandas.
I saw
whatever.
he was, I guess the first person he met with was Newsom, and because he like came into like San Francisco or whatever, and they gave him like his own Golden State Warriors jersey, and he looked so hyped to get it. It was so funny. Like he was must be a big Steph Curry fan or something.
Damn.
It's like when what do you call it?
Yeah,
when
Dennis Rodman. North Korea, maybe.
Yeah, he's
With,
he's boys with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. They were good friends, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Hey, man, Dennis Rodman could,
Could have prevented
bring
nuclear
peace to
warfare.
yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Need guys like that.
Yeah, good old Joe. Also, Joe Biden's from New Jersey. She's not a Philly girl. Delaware?
Yeah.
Well, even more so.
He
You
was
ever
like the senator from Delaware, and then I guess Jill Biden is from
She's from here.
around
Well,
here. Like,
Yeah, not from. I guess she probably
She's not a
from
Philly
here.
girl.
yeah,
She could be.
where
a
is she actually
Philadelphia-
from? Like somewhere in Pennsylvania.
That's a good question.
Also, when she came, I felt so bad. She came to the link last year for the one playoff game. They booed the shit out of her. I was like, damn. My mom was like, come on,
Man.
everybody. What are we doing here? And it was Cancer Awareness Night. They were like,
Oh,
it was like
damn.
Jill Biden and like 8 cancer survivors. They were like, boo. It was not a good look.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, Joe Biden's from Delaware. If you ever drive down 95 South
Yeah, he's
towards
from Delaware.
Baltimore, you drive past the Joe Biden rest stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he's from Scranton, but then spent most of his time in Delaware in his older life.
I guess he.
Oh, Jill was born in Hamilton, New Jersey.
Told you she's a Jersey girl.
Blueberry capital of the world.
I know my shit.
But then she grew up in Willow Grove. So she
Okay.
grew up essentially from here, but not from the city.
I'm just saying.
She's from a burb.
Keep those receipts. I know. Anyway. Yeah, so we got Phils are making a little bit of somewhat moves, or at least knocking the rust off some tires. We got Sleepy Joe Biden figuring some shit out. And we got our pandas back.
Yeah. Things are looking up.
Yeah. Looking okay.
But you know who maybe wasn't looking up was Kelly Oubre when he was trying to cross the street.
Damn.
Oh, God.
Beep,
yeah.
beep, dickhead.
Damn. Well, I'm going to assume it was the driver's fault because, people fucking drive
People
around
drive
here.
like maniacs.
Dude,
If they can
absolutely.
find him, I think it's very odd that they haven't found any clip of the car at all.
Yeah, well, this is, a lot of conspiracies abound here because there was, dude, did you see fucking Howard Eskin was trying to grill Nick Nurse about this last night, before the game.
I
or
saw
whatever.
a clip or two, yeah.
Just saying, what do you make of the fact that the police are saying that this made it? It's like, dude, I don't fucking know.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to trust Kelly.
Yeah. And then after that, they, I guess it was a TMZ got a hold of Oubre's ring camera footage of him coming home and saying he was hit by a car. Which, it was funny. People were like, this is an invasion of privacy. How'd they get this? Like, dude, they obviously leaked this.
Yeah.
So that they
Right.
could, put to bed this story, story or
People
whatever.
were saying it was domestic. It was the result of domestic abuse.
Yeah. There was this one,
Like a pimp.
Yeah.
I think he got jumped. Because he only broke what? I mean,
Why
he
was
get
it
hit by a car.
pimp? Where did the pimp thing come from, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, is that really a thing people are
somewhere.
saying?
He got
Look
beat
it up.
up by
Yeah,
a guy in a big
with
fur
a
coat.
cane.
Why
With
would
a
a pimp beat up Kelly Oubre?
Yeah. Apparently he's a little bit of a dog here and there. From what?
He's married with a kid.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm not. Listen, sources are out there.
We're not judging. We're just-
Sources.
I'm just saying.
People's sources,
but
yeah.
I think it adds a little bit of intrigue. If there's no evidence of a car, I mean, a couple broken ribs and a weird forearm bang up. That sound. You know what I mean? It could be something there.
Then why is he going to come in his house with his bike and tell his wife I got hit by a car?
Because what's he
Yeah.
gonna say? I got beat up by the pimp.
Well, it seems like what happens was he tried to walk it off, came home, and then I'm sure his wife was like, "Dude, you got to go to the fucking hospital. What are you
Yeah.
doing?"
He walked in.
and
He was
then-
like, "Ugh."
He's probably like, "I'm good." And she was like, "No, you got to go to a doctor." And then at that point, he gets interviewed by the cops, and he's trying to remember where it was, and he probably just didn't remember.
He's
what
not
street
from
it was.
here.
He's been here for like 2 months.
Mhm.
He probably got
Disoriented.
whatever street mixed up.
Yeah, I mean,
One
I
of the
think it
nuts.
was on
Yeah, he
Broad.
probably got
It was
walnuts
supposedly
mixed
on
up with
Broad and
Chester.
Locust.
I mean, I
believe that.
The city's not.
People driving down Locust, sometimes going all fast and whatnot, driving down those streets that lead up to Broad. I would totally believe that, especially if he's on a bike.
Yeah, he's gonna get a better bike. That's a shitty ass bike too.
Yeah, he's
couldn't tell.
making a minimum contract, man. He's
They
got
just been
other
that-
things to
that-
spend money
Yeah, he's
on.
out here
There's, like,
riding,
ring
he's out here
doorbells have that
riding a
kinda, like-
mongoose though.
I mean, they have that fisheye lens thing, so it may have been making the bike look smaller than it is.
He's also 6'7", so the
maybe-
bike probably looks small next to
Yeah,
him.
you had to get a really big bike.
Well, anyway, I'm just saying we gotta get that man a new bike.
But
Also,
apparently, it
if
sounds
he
like he
get-
might be back sooner than expected, though.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
a couple weeks.
Only
it's
one
like-
broken rib.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple fractured ribs as well, and the forearm was banged up. But like,
He had some lacerations and whatnot, bruises, but it's not that long of an injury.
no,
Yeah.
I would think the only holdback is that like, I mean, I'm not a professional athlete, but like if you break ribs and damage ribs like that, your whole motion, that shit's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
The first couple of weeks when you get out of that stretching and you're jumping up, and he's a great defensive player too, fast paced, but he'll be all right. Definitely miss him though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Sixers without him and Batum have been a little, I mean, they've been playing well, but it seems like if they're missing like anybody, it's kind of hard to make up for it.
Yeah, you start to see Marcus Morris playing way
Yeah.
too much.
Mm.
But before we move on to the last few games, well, this was one of the last few games, but how about Maxey after he dropped his 50 burger, saying
yeah.
that was for Kelly Oubre and that
Yeah.
I just met the guy, but I love him,
Yeah.
and this was for him, and we wish him well, and we hope he comes back soon. That warmed my heart, man.
Maxey's a fucking gem. That guy is the sweetest person, honestly.
Yeah, vibes are good.
Yeah, despite the last couple of losses and this latest oddity in what has been Sixers basketball for the last 10 years, vibes are still good.
Yeah. Maxi's a happy guy. 23 years old, puts up a 50 burger. I mean, that's an incredible performance. That was nuts. I mean, it was good to see him and Embiid too as a duo.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
The crazy thing about that game is Embiid put up 37, 13, 7 assists,
I mean, you didn't even
and
notice.
3 steals,
Yeah.
and no one even talked about
Yeah,
it. Just
yeah.
like probably 95% of NBA players, Embiid's game that night would have been a career game, and no one even said anything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been leading the league in scoring for the last 2 years now, coming into this, too. I mean, he didn't win the MVP 2 years ago, but he led the league in scoring, last year as a center, and then this year leads the league in scoring again. I mean, that's an incredible run.
Yeah.
With or without the hardware for it, but kudos to, I mean, it's incredible to watch. I mean, it still doesn't get old to watch him out there just do fadeaways or post somebody up or it's wild. And it's nice now to have Maxey running around and not just, like you said before, running around with a chicken wing on his head, like have meaningful impact on the game,
Right.
you know? But yeah, shout out to Maxey coming through with all that.
But yeah, you know what was not fun about watching Embiid? Last night. Ugh.
Oof.
Yeah. Looked like maybe should have sat that one out.
Yeah, it was I think it was the first Indiana game rather. He went for a loose ball. He dove for it, and then a guy fell on his hips, slash ribs.
Yeah, like
fell
he was
on his side.
Yeah.
And it, you could tell it kind of affected him at the time. He laid on the ground for a little bit. I think the last couple of games, you really saw how much it was
bruised
affecting
up.
him.
Yeah.
Especially that Boston game, man. He just couldn't move.
No.
Yeah. A lot of
Horford was like
turnovers.
stealing his shit left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No awareness too. There's been a couple of times where he's been driving the ball up the court from the pass in, and then he'll just get stole from the back, from the back. Like you gotta look around. Also don't let Embiid walk that shit up the court anymore because he doesn't. He's so slow and big that it's inevitably gonna get stolen. Someone's usually behind him, and Boston did it the whole game where they'd have someone waiting in the back, they'd throw it in, he'd call for the ball, and then boop, they'd pop it right out. It's like, all right, well, we're not gonna stop that shit. Embiid's not. He's a terrible dribbler. Even the one against the Pacers when it was a bullshit call with the whole.
Oh, that travel.
Yeah, but that was the point of the game where as soon as that happened, it was gone. We were only down by 2, and Embiid's walking it up. Literally, they said he's a terrible dribbler, and then bang, got that, which I think was bullshit anyway. But
it was a weak call.
they were just at that point. Then they're doing weird passes and just taking terrible shots, and Halliburton was just teeing off to that game. You couldn't.
Halliburton's a hell of a player.
You couldn't afford though to have
he's
those
great.
stupid mistakes, in a 2-point game right there, and then it just got out of hand and lost the game.
But yeah, Halliburton's a hell of a player, man. He reminds me of James Harden when James Harden used to be good. Just this weird kind of herky-jerky style. The most elite court vision you've ever seen. Doesn't really play a lick of defense. Neither does Harden. Neither did Harden. But does everything else. He's just Halliburton in and of himself in his elite offense.
Yeah.
Pacers don't really have anyone good
He could not
offensively,
miss,
but
though.
he just made their entire team. Their entire team is number 1 in offense because of him.
Yeah. He could not miss that game. Everything was going in.
Yeah.
I mean, in the
30-foot threes with his weird jump shot.
Yeah, but I think in the first half too, he was 14 of 14, 8 of the 4 or 5 of which were threes.
Yeah.
The dude just it was going off. But you're gonna get that, like we talked about it earlier before the pod, where it's you have that taste in your mouth where you're playing a team pretty quickly after playing them before. You're in that little tournament mode, so it's kind of like a playoff vibe when you're seeing someone so recently, and you just got put a 50 burger on by Maxey. So you're gonna want to, smack him in the mouth or do whatever and come back and win that game. But just little stupid shit that the Sixers did that they could have won the game that ended up biting them in the ass at the end.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I noticed the way Indiana was defending Maxey is the first game, Maxey's running ball screens with Embiid. They're either going under and Maxey's just getting a wide open 3, or they're going over and he's just blowing by them. So you notice this in the Boston game too. They would bring the second defender up to the level of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as he comes off it, whether this is the first defender goes under or over, he's got another guy in front of him.
Yeah.
And he's starting to figure it out, but he doesn't have the the court vision, the passing know-how to throw the ball where it needs to be thrown every time to his teammate when that happens. And I don't know, man, that 50 burger was great. He was the first non-Embiid or Iverson Sixer to score 50 since Dana Barros in 1995. Dana Barros was a bucket that year, though. I kind of remember that when I was a kid. He was my guy on NBA Jam. But anyway, but yeah, at the same time, I think that in some ways it was, I don't want to say it was bad for him to drop that 50 burger, but now teams are really going to pay a lot closer attention to him than they were previously. So he's got to respond.
Yeah, they need a secondary ball handler pretty bad. It's the minutes where he's off look pretty ugly. Like there's a couple possessions last night where it was just we were just watching a 2-man game between Marcus Morris and Pat Bev. I was like,
my God.
This is horrific.
Brutal.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we love Pat Bev. Always have, always will. I said myself many times, he could be awful this year and I'll still be happy with him. Still feel that way, but that was awful last night.
Yeah,
he just gave them nothing, just bricking 3 after 3 and falling like 5 feet short.
I know.
He airballed one or two.
God,
Him and Morris were airballing 3s.
That one was terrible. I mean, the guy was sitting there under the basket, just, all right, this is easy money right here for me.
It's like it's got to kick return.
Yeah, like, cool, thanks.
It's a fair catch.
Yeah.
But that's all right. They needed to come back down to reality. 8-1, top team. They're 8-1. Eagles are 8-1. Everybody's on top of the thing. But okay, let's level set a little bit.
At least despite that loss against the Pacers, at least we got to get our first look at that beautiful court.
Ugh.
Yeah, you know what it reminded me of? Just a big ass ketchup bottle, man.
Yeah.
Just a big ass
it should have
ketchup,
said
like
Heinz in the middle.
right. Like even with like the dark blue, it just matched a big ketchup bottle almost to a T.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I was watching that game. I had a couple potatoes. It's like, yo, I'm about to throw these in the air fryer real quick.
Also,
Put some ketchup on these. I'm eating good. I'm matching the court.
Also, with that big ass trophy too in the middle, I'm like, that's definitely fucking with the Sixers too, because they don't do good when they start seeing that shit pop up on shit. Playoff time, this.
Yeah, that court is horrendous.
Brutal.
Fortunately, the in-season tournament's still going. I don't think the Sixers are going to win it.
Yeah. The game against the Hawks is a tournament game.
Yeah, it's in Atlanta.
Atlanta
I haven't seen
tomorrow.
what their court looks like.
Yeah, I'm sure. They all look kind of similar.
It's like Boise State,
They're
but for basketball.
Right.
Yeah, they all look like fucked up college courts.
Just makes no sense. I mean, that's the mode you did.
Yeah, it looked
Come on now.
like there was like like a high school art class had a competition to have someone design the courts.
Seriously.
Right.
They probably did have some interns design this.
Yeah.
But they did just like bulk. It's like when you do shit and you're like, all right, I'm going to bulk paint this. And it just like fills in the whole thing. And they're like, that's it. I'm just going to do red and blue, but mostly red on the whole entire court. And then we're going to wear blue that matches the accent blue. I don't know. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, no, it looks, ugh.
Then you got, damn, I should have said this too. Then they had Topper out there. He missed the fucking bell.
Yeah, you should have known.
Your baseball coach misses the.
That was bad mojo. You should have known we were gonna lose when that happened.
That shit was real
Even
bad.
having him there. He
Yeah.
lost Game 7, man. He lost Game 6 and 7 at home, and we have him ring the bell.
The bell's right here. He went.
Might as well have had Doc come and ring the fucking
Yeah,
bell.
For real, man.
Might as well have had Helen Keller ring the bell.
Bring her back from the grave, dude.
Nah, I'm playing. But damn, I was like, come on, Topper. It's a bad look.
Yeah, I did
right
see
there.
that. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's no good.
But a couple other things about the Sixers. So yeah, it was good for them to fall back down to earth. I mean, to go 2-2 against Boston, who is right now the number 1 team in the East, and Indiana, who's number 3, to go 2-2 in a split against those teams, especially when you have them back to back like that. Indiana Tuesday, Boston Wednesday. Not the worst thing in the world. That Boston game, once you found out Porzingis and Brown were out, felt a little more winnable. Even without Oubre and Batum, you kind of felt like, Boston's missing 2 more important players.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't meant to be. Obviously, we know that the Sixers need a backup ball handler. The other thing they need to do, man, is they need to shoot more threes.
Yeah.
Boston shot 50 threes. The Sixers shot 30.
Yeah.
Boston made 18. Both teams shot 36%. The Sixers shot 11 of 30, 12 of 30, I forget, whatever 36% is. and Boston shot 18 of 50.
Mm-hmm.
But Boston made 7 more threes, and you lost by 10.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
There it is right there. Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's not a
Horford
1-for-1.
Unfortunately, again, he was out there hitting threes too, left and right, which
Yeah,
is
it was driving me
frustrating.
crazy.
It's so frustrating to see.
Hate
I'll be
that
so
guy.
happy when his ass retires, man.
Mhm.
Just, I despise that guy. But, yeah, I mean, they need to shoot more threes. Marcus Morris should never see the court again, even if he is from North Philly. His best days are far behind him.
Yeah.
And the other thing, I said this last night in the group chat, they should have put B-Ball Paul on the floor with Embiid last night.
Yeah.
They got to start trying that if Marcus Morris is going to give you nothing.
Yeah.
And if Batum's going to be inconsistent with, not even with playing, but just being able to play,
Yeah.
then yeah,
Don't know
you got to
what's
put
going on.
B-Ball Paul out there. You got to put Springer out there.
I was just about to mention Springer.
yeah.
He looked pretty nice.
They were hooping.
Yeah.
Like Nick Nurse said after the game that he like earned some extra minutes going forward, so we're probably gonna see more of him. But yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
Got a couple big steals.
Husky little guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's stocky,
Yeah.
man. He's rocked up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But,
look at Jaden Springer.
And then what else? Toby's got to shoot more threes. I appreciate that he's doing this bully ball thing where he goes down in the mid post and he can get most of the shots he wants down there. But it's so many times these last few games, you've seen him just pass open a wide open 3 to do that.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, you're a 40%, almost a 40% 3-point shooter.
Right.
Don't be bashful. Just let it fire. But all in all, they're 8-3. I'm not going to sit here overreact to a couple consecutive losses against good teams in November. The same way I wasn't going to overreact to a win against the Celtics last week.
Right.
They'll be all right.
Felt good. It was nice to see him pull it out. Close
Yeah.
game, you know what I mean? But so we're split right now, and that's okay.
Yeah, they'll be all right. This isn't even the Sixers in their final form. They'll make a trade.
Yeah.
At least one, probably, hopefully two. But I think that's all the stats I have written down. Just to further emphasize the point about them needing to shoot more threes. They're 12th in the league in shooting percentage at 36.4%, but they're 28th out of 30 teams in attempts.
Yeah.
And it's basically they're neck and neck with Charlotte and whoever else. They're
Ass.
like percentage points above the last place team. So they got to shoot more. They have the personnel. Toby, Rocco, Maxey, Melton started to shoot a little
Anthony was
bit.
popping off, yeah.
He's been coming around the past couple games for sure.
B-Ball Paul knocked that one down. That was
Yeah, that was
hilarious.
really
I
funny.
was dying. But yeah, they got to shoot more goddamn threes, man. But anyway, not to belabor the point, they got Atlanta on Friday, tomorrow. And we'll see if they can stay alive in this in-season tournament.
Oh, yeah. I do like the one stat, too, where there's only 4 teams that rank in the top 10 of both of offense and defense. Funny enough, it's 2 in the West and 2 in the East, but the 2 in the East are Boston and the Sixers, which are pretty cool. And they're neck and neck in terms of comparison that way. So, like you said, they get those extra pieces, they figure it out. They're a surprisingly, dare I say, dominant team on the cusp of being a dominant team. They got the pieces to do it. They got a nice fresh coach. You know, we'll see what they do moving forward, but it's at least positive signs moving forward.
Yeah, I think last week Nick Nurse said he's only rolled out like 40% of the defensive game plan.
Mm-hmm.
So you know some weird defensive schematic shit is coming.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it last night where he goes to the box and one, starts running a full court press in the second quarter for no reason. And he's going to start doing weird stuff like that, and that'll lift them. That'll help them win at least a couple games that they wouldn't win otherwise. So we'll be all right, man. The vibes are still immaculate.
Yeah.
Big time.
All good. I guess we can touch on the Flyers a little bit. I didn't get a chance to really watch the game last night, but they beat the Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah.
Who haven't been quite playing to their potential this season, but they're a good team. I don't know. Carter Hart comes back. That's a pretty big game. I don't know what is this team?
I'll tell you what they are. If the playoffs started today, they'd be the 8th seed.
Yeah.
But nah, man, they're a lot of fun to watch. I watched after the Sixers loss. I watched the end of that Flyers game, the last 10 minutes of the third period, and even during halftime of the Sixers game, I was watching the Flyers game. They were skating really well. They're a really well coached team. They play really hard. Some of the losses on that West Coast wing were largely because Urson I don't think he's an NHL level goalie, whereas Carter Hart is probably definitely a top half of the league NHL goalie. So they reap the benefits of him coming back certainly last night. Cal Peterson got his revenge on the Kings for trading him in that game, so he had a little extra to play for in that one. And aside from the goaltending, I mean, they have a bunch of guys that would probably the Flyers' third and fourth lines are probably a lot of teams in the NHL's second or third line.
Yeah.
They have a lot of depth as far as their forwards are concerned, and their defensemen are starting to get healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a young, gritty team. I mean, they're playing kind of not the same as the Sixers, but they're playing like a different team than they were last year, right? They're playing a little bit more free. They're playing more aggressive. There's really no expectation, which is great. Not that there was last year either, but they feel like they actually have their shit together. Where like last year, we had so many injuries off the top of the season that it was just a big deflating thing to watch. And I feel like you could just see the team like not really care about playing, or they didn't know what to do, and the fans were all mad. Where here, it's like no one really gives a shit what they do, but we're gonna still care a little bit because we want to watch. And they're playing good. They're playing good hockey, which is just always fun to see.
They've had more time. They've had a full season under Torts now.
Yeah,
I feel like obviously they don't have the high end talent that they need to really be a contender, but you're at least starting to see how this team is supposed to look.
Yeah,
like how they're supposed to play. The style that they want them playing, and like I don't know, it looks good. They have like a few young guys that have been. I mean, Owen Tippett's been really good,
crushing it.
Yeah.
He had that.
I like that.
He had
guy.
like a goal, like a minute or two into the game last night. He has like a really great shot.
Yeah.
He's also really fast. Once he has the puck and a full head of steam, for a guy as big as he is, he can outskate a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's also a ginger, so like you have to have your we got rid of Giroux. You had to get another ginger back for him, so we're keeping that going. Their prospects have been looking good too. I think it was last night or maybe the night before for the London Knights. Our boy Oliver Bonk had a goal.
I was gonna say I heard Ollie Bonk was looking good.
Him and their kid
Barkey.
have Barkey.
Barkey
and Bonk.
I think they had like 4 or 5 points in between the two of them.
Yeah.
Barkey, Bonk, and
Bonk and Barkey.
Yeah.
Brink. Yeah.
Well,
Brink's on the
Brink's with the
now.
Flyers, but it's just so funny.
It's
Just
like the fucking
Barkey.
Three Stooges over
Yeah,
here.
exactly. It sounds so funny.
Yeah, that and Gauthier has been looking fantastic in college. I mean, people are. I heard some guys say he has like one of like the best shots that he's seen from a prospect in like years. Like he just has like he just seems like he's one of those guys that just has like this effortless like killer sniper shot.
Love to hear it.
And he's looking like even though they got him at 5, like he's looking like kind of a steal in that draft. I think he, knowing what people know now, I think he might have gone a little higher than that. So yeah, it's going to be a few years, but things are looking up.
Yeah, I feel good
about how things are going.
Yeah,
I feel good about the Flyers. They've Torts is definitely. You can tell he's starting to vibe with the team a little bit more. You could tell he was miserable as hell last year.
Oh, big time.
Yeah,
but this year he's still kind of just cantankerous, crotchety, grouchy Torts. But you can see he cares a little. He shows care for the players a little bit more in the media. Last year, he wouldn't hesitate to throw guys under the bus in front of the media.
Yeah.
Just sometimes it's a little uncalled for, but this year he's been understanding. He said he's going to give Morgan Frost some playing time after Frost had 2 goals over the weekend.
Yeah.
And
I feel like some of that comes from the new, like, organizational shuffling.
I agree
and
with
stuff.
that. I was going to say that too. Yeah.
I feel like, as far as like not throwing players under the bus and having like, kind of better, relationships with the personnel and stuff. I feel like when, Chuck Fletcher was the guy overseeing all of that, like, he's probably not really.
He was probably scared to stand up to Torts.
Exactly, yeah. But now, like, you have like, a group that is gonna be there for a while.
Yeah, you got some hockey guys in there, dude.
And the
So
hockey guys from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you inherit
hockey guys from the 90s,
right?
And the 2000s.
You inherit like a shitty team, a dinosaur organization from an upper management standpoint. You got young guys on the team that don't really, it's bopping around. You get hit with a plethora of injuries, after a bunch of free agent signings. So you can understand that kind of angst that he had.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, this year, he's got great upper management, kind of like what every team in Philly does, right? Like the good teams that play well in Philly, whatever sport it is, have a great upper management, a good coach with at least a vision and an identity of some sort, and young guys that want to play for him. And I feel like you're kind of seeing that mold of, we're seeing, we know we want to make a mug. We got the clay. It's starting to get nice worked up. We're looking pretty good, you know what I mean? So as long as we keep that train rolling, we'll be good to go.
Yo, shout out Mug, Coffee, and Clay.
I was working that in there, yeah.
But nah, man, I said this before on the pod. I'll continue to say it. I think at the start of the season, everyone kind of thought the Flyers were going to be a basement team, that they had kind of counted them out, that, this team is going to be top 5 draft pick material. Don't get me wrong, that 10-game losing streak, the Flyers are good for one every year, it seems, lately. That could still happen. But right now, I don't see it happening. They're in the majority of their games, even if they lose. Everyone gets blown out once or twice. They certainly have. Hockey's a weird sport sometimes like that. But they play hard. They play hashtag the right way. And more often than not, this team's going to be in it. I wouldn't be surprised if they mess around and flirt with a playoff spot all season. I'm going to say it right now on November 16th at 8:50 p.m. approximately on this pod. If the Flyers make the playoffs, I will do 6 shots of 99 bananas on this podcast.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah, we're holding you to that shit.
That's where the tradition
Mark
began.
it down.
Mm-hmm.
Tradition comes full circle. If they make the playoffs, baby, let's go.
I like that bet. I fully support that bet.
I don't, but I made it anyway.
That's going to be a fun toward the end of the podcast.
Yeah. So just about wrap it up for the Flyers. Birds.
Yeah, let's
Birds,
move on to
baby.
the Birds.
We got the Super Bowl rematch in Kansas City, in Arrowhead. We got rematch of the Super Bowl. We got the Kelsey brothers facing off. We got Eagles versus Andy Reid facing off. It's a exciting game. I think, like I said on the top, I think, the slate of NFL is great. Finally, we have a great Thursday night football, good Sunday night, and wrapping it up with a great Monday night game. I think we give this one up. I'm not going to lie. I'd love to see us pull this one out and win, but I just feel like the gravity of the game, you know what I mean? You're in Kansas City, all the fucking pomp and circumstance of the whole, it's the rematch of the Super Bowl and all this stuff, and the players we don't want to compare it to that, but that's in the back of everybody's head. You can't not play the game thinking about last year. But I can see it being a close, high-scoring game. But I don't know. I got a uneasy feeling about Monday night.
Well, hey, we can get to our score predictions in a little bit,
I'm not doing predictions yet.
Yeah,
I'm just
we
saying,
can get to that in a little bit. But, how do y'all feel about this team heading into this rough stretch just as a whole?
Good.
Yeah, pretty good. They're definitely gotten healthier. That's nice. Secondary is still a bit of a point of concern, I think. I think that's just going to be something you got to deal with all year. And they're just, just going to have to score a lot of points, I think is,
I think the bye came at the perfect time. Like you said, people got healthier. You saw Hurts shed the cast, and Juergens is looking good too. He's coming back as well, potentially.
He practiced in full today. He'll be back.
I think the biggest thing, like you said, Trevor, is that the secondary needs some work, but I think that the bye also helped out that because you got Reed Blankenship, and I have it here. He's, what is he? The third highest covered safety in the NFL, and he also leads the NFL in pass breakups as a safety with 6
Oh,
this
really?
year.
Damn, okay.
So I think that you let him gel another week. You got Kevin Byard, who's an all-pro from the division of Kansas City, so he's familiar with Pat Mahomes. But you give him more time with the team to learn the plays. The guy's an all-pro, Pro Bowler in his past. Obviously, he's a little older now, but
yeah,
you give him some more time to gel before this kind of meat of the schedule. I think that the secondary, the team moving forward, hinges upon not giving up 300 fucking yards a game and 4 touchdowns. Like the defensive front, they're getting pressures. You got Josh Sweat and Micah Parsons have before the Giants stats, obviously because we were on the bye, have nearly identical stats in terms of pressures, sacks, QB touches.
Josh Sweat's been playing great.
Sweat's been going lights out. what's it called? Hassan Reddick, since he shed the cast, has 7.5 sacks. He would have had probably 13 already if he didn't have that cast on to start the season. So the defensive front, they might not get the flashy sack stat, but they're right there. And I think that hinges upon the fact that the secondary can't quite stop anybody. But you give that bye week some time, let that secondary marinate. That's really where this team could take off. Because then you're not putting up just 34 points against 28 or 31. You're putting up 34 points against 24, maybe 17. Because you're not giving up those Hail Mary bombs all the time.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about this rumor about Jalen Carter possibly like
shoplifting?
At the self-checkout in Target?
Yeah. Wait, I'm going to play this video from this fucking doofus. This fucking guy. Wait, fuck.
Also, though, let's be real. If you're doing self-checkout...
He looks like a dope.
Yeah.
All right, breaking news out of Philadelphia, Center City. The Philadelphia Eagles were recently notified after their star defensive lineman, Jalen Carter, was at a downtown Center City grocery store. He went through a self-checkout line. Someone who he knows, supposedly a girlfriend of his, failed to bring out certain things. He then grabbed the bags and walked out and was approached by security personnel. He got into some sort of argument. Eagles were called and he was released. That comes from certain police sources that I have, including the great Mark Fusetti. Eagles, this is Jalen Carter. I don't know what's going on with Jalen. I don't know if this was a misunderstanding. I'm just putting this information out there regarding an alleged... All right, break...
Dude, a few things there. One, I love just it's been between that and like the Oubre stuff. It's been quite a week for guys who like I got a friend who's a cop and he's told me to fucking my dad who's working at the station told me that Jalen Carter.
Shout out Rigatoni. Who the fuck? What? He just pulled the name out of his ass.
Also, it's funny the idea of like the idea that there'd be some kind of big scandal about a person committing a crime that's probably like. Stealing with a self-checkout is probably the most common crime next to like smoking marijuana.
It's more common than jaywalking these days.
There's probably people as we speak who like make like six figures who are stealing shit.
Right.
From the
you go to self-checkout with the intention of at least getting a couple things for free in the bag. You're not checking everything in that thing.
You guys ever steal?
Yeah, all the time.
I'm not going to say anything. This could be used against me. Could be incriminating.
All the time. We're walking up them fucking, if it's an apple, what's the cheapest one? I'm getting them Honey Crisps for a gala apple price.
I know like they used to do the trick. You remember when like Wegmans had this section with like the loose tea?
Yeah.
And you would just
I used to work there. I know.
Yeah, you'd like, and you'd have to like get a barcode to stick on the thing. Mm-hmm. You like weigh it or whatever, and you just like weigh like nothing, and then just fill it up, and then just slap the, do that.
Oh, I was a cashier. I used to catch people doing that sometimes, and I was...
Did you let it slide?
It depended on the day.
Like, hold it right there.
Yeah. I never do it because I mean, I'm sure it's very easy to get away with, but I don't know. I don't... I don't like getting in trouble, I just feel like... I feel like I'm too old to be like getting in trouble at the store.
Dude, if you steal from the Target self-checkouts enough, they get you. Because they see you on camera and they have that facial recognition.
Yeah, well, what I heard too was sometimes what they'll do is they'll let people do it and just let them do it.
Yeah, they'll let you do it until
you rack up enough to make it like a felony or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's where so you got to go to different targets. You can't just be hitting up the same one all the time. You got to go
diversify
steal a
your
little bit
portfolio.
From Target, steal a little bit from CVS, hit up the Rite Aid, the Walgreens. Yeah,
Jalen Carter wasn't stealing from a Target. Fuck that guy, jabroni ass.
Yo, how are you as a security person gonna walk up on Jalen Carter?
He probably saw like whoever reported this. He just probably saw like a large man in a Jalen Carter jersey stealing from the self checkout. Right. He's just like that's what he wears all the time. Is his
work uniform all the time. Yeah.
He's like he's like. Like the Harlem Globetrotters when they're on Scooby Doo, they're just always wearing the Harlem Globetrotters uniform.
Makes no sense.
But I can just picture the security person walking up. If it was actually Jalen Carter, 6'3", 320 pounds, security guy's probably like 5'6", 150 pounds. Like, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to talk to you. What the fuck?
Out. Mm-mm. No.
Oh man.
But
Yo, my uncle, I got uncle at City Hall. He said that Biden stole the election, yo.
during this whole transition, the city's really
They're
getting all crazy right
they're
now.
supposed to announce it next week that Trump actually won.
Yo, so hold up. Was that guy on the video, was he from here?
Probably not. Look at that
I
dumbass
don't know,
hoodie
I
he's
think
wearing.
so. I was looking about
calling downtown Center City. Who the hell says downtown?
Centers. Yeah,
Right.
that's a tell.
Also, who says it in both ways? If you're gonna say you
You
say
say
Center
one or the
City
other.
or down, you don't say in Center City downtown. Well, what?
It's like, no, you know what? Some old heads will call it downtown Center City.
Mm-hmm.
Some like I think my granddad actually, he'll call it downtown or Center City. Sometimes he'll just use them both.
Well, now, you
But
don't
that
say.
guy wasn't an old head.
Well,
He's
South
our
Philly, you don't say
age.
downtown. But I was in Northfield because I would say downtown. I'm going downtown.
Yeah,
But you go
right,
downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you're,
But you don't say I'm going downtown to Center City.
Yeah, you say one or the other. You don't say I'm
Right.
going to the beach shore.
Right.
You know
Right.
what
I'm
I'm
going
saying?
down the shore to the beach. What?
Yeah, no one says that. The only people that say that are people that aren't from here.
Hello. That guy
He's a-
looked like he
he's
was
a
at some kind of
fraud,
weird
dude.
short house. Yeah.
He looked like a Jersey City boy, man. A
I
Jersey
called my
Shore
friend
boy.
Rigatone. Fuck that
Yeah.
guy.
my friend Sergeant Spaghetti.
Yeah. Anyway, Carter,
Lieutenant
maybe he got some
Bolognese.
free shit, whatever. I bet you he gets 2 sacks this week. I will say
That'll
that.
put him at
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
I'll be buying you that bottle next week if that's the case. But
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, we're not gonna have. There's no sod father this time.
I was gonna bring that up.
We're
Yeah,
gonna have that grass nice and dry.
they better. Unless they repaint that shit for some reason.
Yo, what if Kansas City was just
Just
messing with us?
spraying
They
water.
trolled us and just before the game just wet the whole.
I would.
just start.
Oh, the
spraying
sprinkler
water.
system went on for some reason.
Well, they got to play on that too.
And they were, like I said, and to your point, Trevor, it really hint like the offense is producing fine. An interesting stat: Kansas City is the lowest scoring team in the second half in the NFL this season.
They're not good this year. I have
And
that
the
in
number
my
one
notes.
team is the
Yeah.
Eagles.
Defense is probably a little improved.
Their defense is
But-
much improved.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the Eagles now, on the opposite of that, are the number one team in the second half. You also got Jalen Hurts in terms of completion percentage on third downs last year was 93%. That was like top 2 in the NFL. This year he's 99
Yeah.
on third down.
Yo, Hurts leads the league in
Yeah.
completion percentage above
And
expectation.
second half, it's unreal. Whether it's second half numbers, whether it's come from behind, touchdown to interception ratio, I'm not going to say it, but his touchdowns are way more than his interceptions. I don't think he's had a
Yeah.
pick yet when he's coming from behind. His quarterback rating is like
Mm,
130
that
something.
Jets game, that pick was coming from behind.
He's like, all right, so he's like 12-2. Either way, his numbers are 124% passer rating. The dude's lights out in the second half. The KC game is what it is. I think the added pressure of the rematches of one thing, but that next stretch, the Bills, Josh Allen's a bitch. San Fran, I can't wait to talk shit to them when they come into town. Seattle, we'll see what's up with them. Dallas is another big one. But I think in that 4-game stretch, what did I say? KC, San Fran,
It's 5.
Buffalo 5. We go 3-2.
Yeah, I have us at 3-2 as well.
Pick and choose the 2 that you want, but I think that Buffalo really
Buffalo,
they're on
they
some
look
weird
bad
shit right now. Yeah, I don't know what they're up to.
Yeah, I just fired their OC.
Yeah,
That guy, there's that famous video of him like
Oh,
slamming
yeah.
shit in the fucking booth. Yeah.
Ken Dorsey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he was a quarterback. He
Mhm.
was very mediocre.
But then you got KC. We can't not talk about the KC game and not talk about Pat Mahomes.
Oh, hey guys! It's like Trevor, you're better at the Mahomes voice than I am.
Not changing his underwear.
Yeah.
Are they coming off a
on
win
the
or a loss?
How is he
Yeah.
going to say that on the Manning cast for all of America to hear?
Nuts.
This man's
Brutal.
walking around wearing dirty underwear.
Where it's the same pair, doesn't wash them when they win. Man's got 114 career wins. That shit's nasty. And they came off a bye too.
Yeah,
they're
and
coming-
they won the
won.
last game.
That shit's been
So those
sitting in the
underwear
hamper
been
just
marinating
stanking.
for yuck. That's vulgar, man.
Can you imagine being the running back though, and you gotta like sit by him?
Yeah.
You line up behind him. Oh, and they
Yeah.
always wear white pants. typically.
Yeah.
The
What color are those underwear?
running back's like, guys,
Brown now.
I really think we need to like stop running so much pistol. We need to go shotgun. Like,
Andy, you got any interesting plays that aren't me behind Pat?
Yeah, that's nasty, man. Imagine being in the locker room with him after a game. You're all celebrating, chest bumping, and then you catch a whiff of those undies. I mean,
Oof.
admittedly, most people in that locker room probably smell
they all
bad.
probably smell
but
like
that's
ass,
probably particularly rank. Imagine if they win 8 games in a row. You mean to tell me he didn't wash those underwear for 8 weeks?
Also, he's been in the league. I mean, not gonna lie, it's not like his first year. Like, they've got holes in them and everything too.
And what happens if, like, after they won the Super Bowl? You mean to tell me he didn't wash those undies the whole
All
playoff
year,
run, the whole off
they were
season?
probably all stiff and hard and weird, and
Yeah, they were probably crusty as hell,
they had to
man.
put them on week 1. Like,
I wonder if he's got like a special like case for him to like keep him separate from like a
yeah,
I don't
that
know
freak probably
maybe
does.
some kind of airtight thing.
Most people have jerseys. He has all his underwear just
Yo, how
sitting
come
up
he
there.
didn't talk about
Hanging
this
in
on
the rafters.
quarterback, man? I have questions.
About what?
Yeah.
He should have talked about this on quarterback. He didn't
Yeah.
mention this at all.
That was your time, fucking freak.
Yeah, he had to hide that secret
Mhm.
from us because he knows he would have lost some fandom if he was like, yeah, I just
The
wear
Manning
the same
brothers
raggedy,
bring that
dirty
freak
underwear.
out in people when he's on that show.
Yeah, what do you think of the Manning cast?
I fucking love it.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I always
really into
forget
it.
to put it on, but
It's the only one I watch.
Yeah.
I can't stand Joe Buck, dude.
Nah, Joe Buck's a bitch. I love the Manning brothers when they
Did
do
you-
that shit.
It was fun. You see when Aaron Rodgers was on it and like his microphone was like all fucked up. It was just making
Yeah.
this like crazy feedback or
Yeah.
whatever. It's probably because it's probably the interference from all like the tinfoil that his house is covered in.
Yeah. All the acid he's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I learned something new about like the Manning football every time I watch the Manning cast.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they're really good at like
They can predict the plays, and I'm thinking, how do you know that?
Well, and to have like Mahomes doing that, that was kind of cool too. Besides the underwear bit, when he was like, they're gonna run the ball twice and then play action fade to the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly
And
what happened.
it was
yeah.
like, okay,
You're
well,
like, how do you know that?
yeah. And that was the funny thing too. Russell Wilson, for all the shit we talk about Russell Wilson,
He's been balling.
he's got the two. I don't know what the percentage is called, but it's like percentage of it being able to be a caught ball. He has the two most least likely balls ever thrown in the end zone to be caught for a touchdown. The one that he threw to Lockett like 3 years ago was like 15%. The one that he threw the Cortland Sutton in the back of the end zone was like 2%.
That was a
That was
hell of a
amazing.
throw.
That
catch.
was
Yeah.
Dude,
I
I'm
mean,
so pissed that like Cortland Sutton's one of those guys that I've like picked up in fantasy like the past 2
Mhm.
years, and it was just like so disappointing. And then this year I was like, nah, I'm not fucking with Cortland Sutton, and he's like scoring a touchdown like
Yeah.
every fucking game.
he's
So
killing
mad.
it. But you're seeing it better. I mean, Wilson is looking decent. I mean, if the Broncos win this week,
against
they're
the
sniffing.
Bills.
They're
yeah.
sniffing the playoffs right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, their defense is good. I mean,
Yeah.
their defense has always been good. Just the offense couldn't get out of its own way. But Russ is balling.
The run game is
Cortland
great.
Sutton's playing
Yeah.
good.
Javonte
Javonte.
Williams.
I love
Yeah.
Javonte
Yeah.
Williams.
I have
He's a man.
Javonte
He's a man.
and Cortland Sutton. They've been nice little because they'll be fighting if they do want to be in the playoffs. That'd be a good fantasy playoff team to have because they want to play. Having Hurts is always a detriment because, come week 16, 17, they usually start pulling the reins
Yeah,
back.
and he's gotten hurt the last couple years late in the season too.
Yeah.
But I guess back to this game. So yeah, I got some notes here. The Chiefs. This ain't your. I can't say fathers. This isn't the Chiefs' offense of yesteryear.
No.
Passing wise, man, they're fifth, which is still certainly very good. Don't get me wrong, but usually they're first.
It's also not a
Usually-
dominating fifth.
Yeah. I mean, it's Travis Kelce and no one else. I drafted Sky Moore in our fantasy league. I had to drop his ass. He's
Yeah.
a bum.
Rice, he's also been asked.
Rashay Rice.
Rice.
Yeah, it's basically just Travis Kelce in the passing
And a
game.
bunch of guys. Yeah.
And in rushing attack, they're 19th.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
that great.
No one really runs well against us anyway.
No, we
Yeah.
have no one. We're the best
So,
run
Yeah, we're
defense.
just
they're just throwing it the whole game.
Yeah.
The fucking pass rush should be teeing off.
Yeah, so I think defensively, man, what this comes down to is comes down to Andy Reid off the bye, which 29-4 in his career.
It's honestly unreal.
Has never, that's including playoffs, has never lost to the Eagles. And Sean Desai, it comes down to what Sean can do to scheme against this
Yeah.
um
And he stepped it up against good teams when we
against
saw
Miami.
Yeah.
And he steps it up when it matters.
Not against the
I haven't
Commanders.
seen a defensive coach though for the Eagles that when you go into the locker room at halftime, he actually makes adjustments that impact the game immediately.
He makes adjustments before then
fourth
too. A lot
quarter,
of times,
third quarter might be a little wonky, but fourth quarter defense, this defense plays like Brandon
Yeah.
Graham got a sack
The
and a
pass
half.
rush always comes alive. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also think too that, and I said this a couple of games ago with Sidney Brown. I think that with the bye week coming when it did come, having Kevin Byard come when he showed up to the team, I think that him and Blankenship should be healthy as well. All teed up, everyone's gelled up. They'll have a more solidified back end on the secondary. I bet you. I mean, Sidney Brown. This could be a really big game for him to cover up Kelsey because we're gonna miss Maddox in this game because you got obviously top 3, if not the best tight end in the league right now.
He's the best tight end. He might be the best tight end of all time.
But I think this could be a really good chance for Sidney Brown to again solidify a name for himself on this team, covering in that slot nickel position a little bit right there, because you lose to Kobe Dean, which is honestly probably more of a benefit because he was the worst coverage linebacker in the NFL. Zach Cunningham and Morrow have been completely lights out. Great pickups by Howie yet again.
Yeah.
But you're going to need Sidney Brown right here in this game to make a big play or make an impact move. And I could see him in late game, third, fourth quarter, having that big bang, hit across the middle of the field, almost like a B-dog move, fumble from Kelsey. We get the ball, close out the game. I see that right there in my head.
I don't know if I would go that far.
I'm
but
calling it right here. I'll do a shot if they. I'll do.
Dude, you just
I'll bet
you
a
said
shot.
a few minutes ago we were gonna lose.
Yeah, but this just came to me like an epiphany. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Has some time to marinate on it.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, Sidney Brown's one of the guys I think has to step up in the absence of Nakobe Dean, just because we've seen him in on those big nickel packages where he's playing the nickel.
Yeah.
And he comes up and he's in blitz.
Yep.
And he's getting in there on the run game. So I think we see some of that. I think we see him as a dime linebacker.
Yeah.
Where you've got...
He's built like one.
Yeah, you've got the four secondary guys lined up on the line of scrimmage. You just have him in the middle.
Yep.
Because sometimes they will run a run out of those 3 wide receiver, 4 wide receiver packages, and you got to have him ready. So, yeah, I think he has a pretty good game. I think the pass rush eats. We don't have to worry about the goddamn Sodfather.
No.
My concern, and Trevor, you brought this up, you just said about Washington's offensive coordinator, whose staff was he on last year?
Yeah,
Kansas
KC.
City, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's no doubt in my mind, Andy Reid, the same way in the Super Bowl, he watched those plays against Jacksonville
Mm-hmm.
and could tell that we didn't respond to motion well. So what's he do to score those 2 touchdowns? Runs motion.
Yeah.
He's been watching that Washington film. He probably called Bieniemy up. It's like, hey, I'm eating a couple cheeseburgers right now, man. But I got to ask you.
Eating some nuggies.
Yeah, I'm eating some nuggies. Me and Pat are here at Chick-fil-A. I got to ask you right now, how do you run these plays? Because we have the staff to do it. I'm going to try to do it against these guys. So, yeah, I think our defense will play well, but it's just Andy Reid after a bye. That's just bad juju, man. I don't know if defensively we have enough to stand up to that.
You got to also anticipate some kind of trickery. Andy Reid isn't going to just sit on the bye week and just hit you with the normal game plan, whether it's motion, not motion, whatever it is, like simple sets. You're going to see some kind of weird fucked up something. He's going to do a play or two that the defense won't be prepared for because you're never going to see it. Whether it's that snow globe one that they did against the Raiders that ended up not counting.
Oh, that weird one.
You know, like you're going to see something. They've had 2 weeks to scheme, and they're at home. They're playing against the Eagles. Andy Reid loves doing weird shit. I love him for it because he's a phenomenal coach, but it's frustrating when you see it against us. But I could almost guarantee that that's going to happen too. Some kind of weird some kind of setup that you're just going to be like, okay, what's going to happen here?
Yeah, it's Andy Reid, man. He wants to give America something to watch on Monday Night
He's a
Football,
great coach.
you know
I mean, you got the best quarterback, honestly, in the NFL. Arguably the best tight end in the NFL. A decent O-line. Your receivers are kind of shit. Your run game's kind of shit. But with the weird mastermind that only cares about football, you're going to see something crazy come out. They still got Spagnuolo out there on defense, so that's going to be a tough matchup.
He's been coaching his ass off this year.
But yeah, close. I think it's similar to Miami. You're going to have everybody show up and step up and make some big plays.
What about offensively? How do you think the offense stacks up against these guys?
I think they cook. I think they do fine. I'm not worried about the offense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Might be, a little tricky kind of trying to replace Goddard.
Yeah.
They weren't really using him anyway. He averaged 50, 60 yards a game the last couple games, though.
You say that, looking at him as a pass catcher. I think Trevor's getting at him as a run blocker.
Yeah, he's big.
He's a monster run. He's the best blocking tight end in the league.
We got a couple good ones, though, in the back end. We've had, oddly enough, we've kind of had historically really good blocking tight ends. Haven't had, like, the breakout receiving tight end. Goddard is kind of getting there, but isn't quite, can't stay healthy, and we don't get the ball enough to really hit that top three. But even going back to before Selleck, they love to use tight ends as just old-fashioned blocking tight ends, whether it's Stoll, whether it's Calcaterra, whether it's whatever.
Calcaterra couldn't block me.
Yeah. I'm just saying, we're going to be okay.
We're going to have to try to, like, sort of recreate him in the aggregate, like...
We're going to be all right.
Calcaterra is probably, he's probably, like, the best pass-catching one, but he can't block, and then someone else is going to have to
Stoll will be okay to block. I'm not...
Hopefully they can put it together.
Plus you got Juergens back.
Yeah, Juergens.
So, like, that's a big piece.
Yeah.
Juergens being back should help. Hurts being healthy should help the running game. Maybe Okwuegbunam gets involved, you know what I'm saying?
Probably. He's
He's got some experience against KC now. He was in that division against them. But
might see some more Julio too.
He could play tight end from a receiving standpoint. I want to block him, but
that's a big guy, man. But yeah, I think what we're gonna have to do is #establish the run. Mm-hmm. They're fifth in passing defense, surprisingly. But
McCringle or whatever the fuck that weird guy's name is,
McDuffie.
I like him a lot.
A baller.
Yeah, he's killing.
We almost drafted him, but we drafted. We traded for AJ Brown that year. Can't be mad about that.
Not at all.
Yeah, McDuffie's a baller. Their pass rush, they got Chris Jones.
Yeah,
that guy's a monster. Nick Bolton, the guy that had the fumble return, he's out.
They got that cat from Purdue though too.
Karlaftis?
Yeah.
Karlaftis
He's
is a beast.
been cooking up this year.
Yeah. So their passing defense is pretty solid. Rushing, they are 17th. So I think if Hurts is healthy, if Juergens is back doing his thing, and if Stoll can at least hold up, this is a big run-the-ball game, man.
I think you see a
little bit more QB run-up in this. DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
He's going to have the better night of the Swifts in the building.
I think you're probably
going to go home crying.
I think you're going to see maybe even, dare I say, Rashad Penny get probably north of 65 yards.
We've been keeping him on ice, man.
I'm going to say this is the kind of game, it's going to be a little cooler weather, a pretty banged-up rushing defense. This is the time that if you want to have anybody run the ball 35, 40 times as a team, he's got to get at least 10, 15 touches.
Yeah.
Because you can't let Gainwell... You get second and 3 on the goal line. Give that shit to Rashad Penny. He's been juiced up all year. He's healthy. He's fine. He can take the hit.
Yeah.
Let him play.
Yeah, I mean, you've been saving him for the second half of the season. We're here.
Yep. And they tickled it a little bit last week with Dallas. You know what I mean? He had 6 carries, almost 30 yards. I bet you he gets north of 65 yards this game against KC with a suspect run defense.
Yo, I'm here for it. But, y'all got anything else about this game before we get to our little predictions?
Nah.
You got the score prediction? Pat, you went from saying we were going to lose, but now you're saying we're going to win. What you
I was
got?
just saying I could see that if it came down to, a big play, I could see Sidney Brown. That would be my money would be at making a big play. On it's going to go to Kelsey if we're ahead and they're trying to win the game. But I think that it's going to come down to, I think it's going to be 37-31 KC.
Okay, so you have them covering. The line's KC minus 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised out of you by that.
I'm screaming at myself right now because I know in my heart I think the Eagles are going to actually do really well. But I'm trying to be the bye week helped me calm down a little bit. Riding that 8-1 high, I had to just kind of assume that we're not going to go 9-1. But I'm going to say 37-31 KC, final answer.
All right. Trevor, what you got?
I was going to say 30. That's funny. I was almost the same. I was going to say 35-31 KC.
What was the Super Bowl score?
It was like
37-34.
39, 30.
No, it was like all there was no field goals in that game, I don't think.
So 30.
Oh, there was at the
38, 35.
Yeah, it was at the very end. It was like 35, 30.
Pat, you're looking it up.
Yeah.
I forget.
I
only remember the score of the Super Bowl we won.
It was. Oh, nope, that's the wrong one.
You know what? I remember the Super Bowl we lost to the Patriots was 34-24.
It was 38-35.
I thought so.
there you
Okay.
Fucking piece of shit.
So, yeah. What I got for this, man, I think we can win. I think the running game steps up. I think we control the clock. I think the defense does a fair job. Special teams does their thing. They don't do anything stupid this time. But at the end of the day, Mahomes is just a G. Works his magic. Delivers in the clutch. Chiefs win 32-26. We'll be all right. We got Buffalo after that. Like I said, I have us going 3-2 in this 5-game stretch. This is one of the losses. Just the way it goes, man. Andy Reid after a bye.
Yeah, if it wasn't after the bye,
If
be much
we
more
had a
inclined
bye and they didn't, I'd feel good.
Yeah. But Andy Reid out of the bye, it's just like, it's like hard to overcome.
I will say this though. I'm gonna make another bold prediction. I bet you that we see a Britton Covey punt return for a touchdown in this game.
Yo, I'd be all for that.
All right,
I can see that.
down for that. That sounds good. But
Hate the guy, but
He's been a great punt returner this year.
definitely because I've been hating him. He feeds off that
Keep hating him.
negative reinforcement.
Before we head out here, I just want to share some advice from one of sports great analysts here.
Look at this right here. At Deep Waters of L. The best sex song. He's asking me that.
Y'all want to know?
Oh, man. I gotta ask. There's a few of them. Listen, there's a few. I can't give you one. I loved True. All I Do Is Think of You. It's an oldie right there. A House Is Not a Home by Luther Vandross. We can't ignore that. You talking to an old school brother right here, but trust me, take notes, take lessons. I kind of am experienced in something like this. Just trust me on this, okay? I kind of
fuck a lot.
Teddy Pendergrass, Turn Off the Lights. I mean, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. Adore, Prince. We can't go wrong with that. Okay? We definitely can't go wrong with that. I don't want to bring up R. Kelly, but I think it's okay now because he's in jail.
This shit, I think it's okay.
Now, if he was not in
I just
jail,
spit
it
out
would
my
not be
beer,
okay
man.
because he's getting away with stuff. But now that they finally got his ass and he's in jail, okay, it's okay to bring up R. Kelly music now. Dedicated was a beautiful song, okay? Your Body's Calling. That was another one, okay? 12 Play couldn't be ignored. There's a few by R. Kelly. Honey Love, there's a few by R. Kelly now. We can't act like we don't know that, all right? So there's quite a few. You know, Jodeci, Cry For You, we can't ignore that. I mean, I'm giving you some now. I don't know all of them. I don't know all. I mean, I actually do, but I don't. I want to give it all to you. But trust me, the options that I gave you, those work. Those work. Fellas, and I'm talking to the fellas here right now. Timing is everything. See, you can't just say, just play the song. If she was cooking and she ain't feeling lovey-dovey and you play the music and stuff like that, but then you step to her with the music and stuff like that, you might even get it. Here's the problem.
Oh, man.
You just getting sex and you just giving us sex. You ain't making love.
That's right.
And if you ain't making love, you don't need to be asking questions like this. You understand me? It's different. You got to use it. The ambiance got to be nice too. Now, if you just trying to get some, that's different. But if you trying to show her what she is worth to you, music matters. Dim the lights. That matters. Do not eat more than a salad.
That's important. This is
Before
important.
you get
I've
loose,
been there
because
before,
if you get it
dog.
ready, but then you all bloated, that's a problem. That's a problem. You might belch, you might pass gas, you might not feel your vibrant self, and you've compromised it. And drink water. It assists with fluidity. You know what I'm talking about. That's the way to go. I'm just gonna go with a few of them.
Yeah,
R.
I can't
Kelly
believe
part
it's
was-
real.
That shit was funny. as
Words
hell.
of wisdom from the one and only Stephen A.
He
Smith.
said, only
Yo.
because he's locked up and they got his ass.
They got his ass. I guess he probably has the same, now that Michael Jackson's dead,
Yeah.
we can enjoy.
Dude, he's hilarious. Yeah, the one video where he's reading tweets and someone asks him the worst day to be horny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What did he say? Sunday, I think.
Yeah,
is
he
what
goes
said.
Sunday, but some of the stuff he's saying, I don't remember what he says exactly, but at one point he's like, yeah, you gotta make sure you close.
Yeah.
And he's saying, I'm not talking about CLOTHES. I'm talking about CLOSE.
Damn, dude. He is funny
Yo, who
as
gave
shit.
Stephen A. a pod that isn't regulated by the FCC?
I don't know. He's just guys. Anyone can just start their own thing.
That's
now.
true. I mean, we started our own, and we're not
Yeah,
regulated by the
we're,
FCC.
It's true.
Yeah. Well, that'll just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Please give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. Follow at Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com.
Send Trevor care package, or
Yeah.
well, DM us to send Trevor care
Yeah,
packages.
DM for address.
Need them prunes.
And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
See ya.